Great skill from Leon Bailey, but is there an end product as he drives inside the area? And yes, there is. That's the moment we were waiting for. 15 minutes remain as Kieran Tierney puts the ball in towards the box. Header's there, and it's 2-0 Everton. Patrick Catrone's got it. Vinicius Jr. going to be found, putting it back on the right foot. Shot comes in, great save, goalkeeper Bailey there. 4-0 Everton. Thought that was going to be it. I genuinely thought Bradford were going to get a consolation, which they really do deserve in the game, to be fair, with how they've done. But 4-0 Victors in the end. We're through to the fourth round. We avoid a cup upset, and hopefully we'll be a bit better going forward. Hello everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another Career Mode episode. Today we bring you the month of January, including a double leg fixture against West Ham United in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. We're going to kickstart the episode off with the away leg first. In terms of this one, Oz and West Ham are the two sides facing off in this semi-final. The other one though is Chelsea and Aston Villa. So if I'm being honest, I'm half expecting Chelsea to be in that final for whoever it is out of the two of us who get there. Obviously, no disrespect to Villa, but I just feel like this time they're probably the better side on paper and should get there. So, in terms of that as well, let's take a quick look and see what's happening in the Premier League table. Of course, it hasn't changed since I last left you off, but 21 games in, still undefeated, and we have a ginormous lead at the top of the table. 16 points over today's opponents, West Ham. They are sat in second. Chelsea down in fourth there, you can see. Manchester United in fifth. So, yeah, it's one-way traffic at the moment in the Premier League for us. It really has been a really good season. Now, we are into January as well, which does mean the transfer window is now open. Of course, for us, I don't have any plans to bring in anybody else. There's players in this team right now who can't even get a game because we've got so many good players here. So in terms of that, I'm not planning on bringing any other player in. However, the Everton board came to me enough to have asked me about Richarlison's future because he's basically turning around to me and saying that he's not happy with his game time. So it could be that Richarlison might be one of the outgoings leaving the club. You'll have to watch this space. In terms of how many games he played this season, I mean, he's played 13 Premier League games. In terms of appearance makers, not including, of course, the ones that he played in the pre-season tour. It's because he played, in fact, he didn't even play in the pre-season tour. So he's played 22 times this season, Richarlison. He's played more than Ivan Herrera, Lindelof, AWB. I mean, you can see. So I'm a bit surprised to see him kind of complaining about his game time, but that is how it goes. So let's jump into game then. I've switched around the team. It's already ready for this first leg away at the London Stadium. West Ham do pose a bit of a threat. We are going to have to be careful because I don't know how this is going to go. You know, in the Premier League, I'd have fancied our chances, but with it being knockout football, it just has that little bit more pressure to it. But nevertheless, you can see there as well, De Ligt. He's playing in central midfield. That is because a few fitness issues. I think he could probably play there anyway, like a CDM type role. We'll see how he gets on. If I need to, I have got Lo Celso on the bench, TAA on the bench as well. But for now, he's going to start in that centre mid role. And West Ham United starting 11 looks like this then. You can see on the left, that's their starting 11. On the bench, of course, some good players as well to bring on if they need to. But in their starting 11, to be honest, I really only look at two players who can cause problems for us. That, of course, being Felipe Anderson on the left and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on the right. Elsewhere, I'm not too worried. I think we'll pretty much dominate the game. But yeah, those two players in particular are massive for West Ham if they want to get anything out of this game because realistically, I don't see them breaking us down unless it's going to be from the wide areas. We are a bit susceptible from crosses. I always have been in any team that I've had in this series thus far. Crosses have always sort of been a bit of a, I guess, bogey thing to try and deal with. But yeah, so for us, this is our 11. You saw it when we came into game. Again, De Ligt is the one to watch in there at central midfield. I think he can play that role. He's 90 rated now. He's pretty decent at passing as well, so I mean, he's probably better at passing than a lot of the midfielders out there in the world of football. So, yeah, he shouldn't have too many problems playing that role. But let's get this show on the road then. The first leg coming at the London Stadium. Of course, we go back to our place, but we might not even need that game if we can get the job done here. And what he will give as well is De Ligt in that centre midfield role. He will give us that ability to win back possession with tackles and such. And here goes Coleman, now finding Kieran Tierney. Only 3 minutes on the clock, and this is what Tierney does so well. How many times a season? And Vinicius Jr. scores inside 4 minutes. It's been a very quick start to this game. Some would say too quick. I always get a little bit apprehensive when we score an early goal because it's so long in the game that you can't really change your game plan. You just have to stick with it. Because if you now sit back, you've got to sit back for 86 minutes. Of course, I never play like that, but West Ham, I mean, Tierney's done this how much this season, in fact, and last season. you'd expect them to cut that out. I mean, they lost possession, with De Ligt, of course, winning back the ball that you saw. And then they didn't touch it after that. We played 4 or 5 passes, and the ball was in the back of the net. Not going to get ahead of ourselves, though, yet, because it's only 1-0. And like I said, they still have some very good wingers here, West Ham. They just need to get them into the game, and they might be in for a good standing. West Ham United in a good position. Davinson Sanchez blocking that shot, and Lunin is required. First chance for the home side of this game, and it's come after some mixed defending from us. We do well initially to block the shot, but then we just not quick enough on the reaction. The shot comes in, and Lunin had to be quick, and he certainly was. Great save from our number 1. That's why he's back in the team over Weiss at the minute, and he's going to come out and collect this corner as well, just to solidify it that little bit more. Really, really good work from our goalkeeper. It could have easily been 1-1 there. To be fair, that's the first time West Ham have threatened so far in the opening 23 minutes. As we look for a quick counter-attack here, Orsic. There's a run coming in again from Tierney, and he's going to find him. Carbon copy of the first one, maybe. Tierney a bit wider this time. Not a great delivery either, and the chance will go, but De Ligt doing what De Ligt does best, winning back possession. Now Richarlison. Orsic is through. Orsic with a shot. Perrin saves it. And West Ham United get away. The break then after that really poor start to the game that West Ham made. They somehow have survived only at 1-0. Wasn't for the want of trying, but to be fair, they did have that chance as well that Lunin saved really, really well. So, could have been 1-1, could have been 2-0. At the minute, though, it stays 1-0, and as you can see, not a lot of chances in the first half of football. I did actually think to myself when I saw this draw made that this would be pretty close between the two sides. West Ham aren't a bad side at all, so it's not surprising for it only to be 1 goal separating us both. But I do want that second in this second half and make sure that the game is pretty much done here. Towards Richarlison, now Orsic, Coman making moves, Kingsley Coman's in behind for number 2, it's straight at Perrin though, and he will save it. And West Ham United again will get away with it. I mean, you can't be allowing us to have that sort of time in the box, but if we're going to be hitting the shots like that, then you can really. Coman needed to do a little bit better. I think it was on his weak foot though, so I will let him off. But I think they'll be happy at 1-0. I really do. I don't think they'll be disappointed in this by any means. Ivan Herrera through to Patrick. Is this the chance for 2? Send him a little bit wide. Patrick shot. Perrin saves it, but Richarlison is on hand. There's the second with a minute to play. That gives me a bit more confidence into the second leg now. We've got a little bit of a lifeline. At 1-0, if they scored, we didn't have anything. At least at 2-0, we can kind of afford at least 1 mistake. But thank goodness Richarlison was there to tap it in. He could well be leaving the club in this window maybe, but there you go, mate. Tap that in, and it's 2-0 Everton. I think we deserved it, although we haven't been brilliant. But, oh, it's actually not even Richarlison's goal. What? How's it gone down as an own goal? Are you telling me Richarlison didn't hit the target with that? That's poor if he didn't. I'm not going to complain, though, because it is the second goal, and we are 2-0 up heading into that second leg. So, we've received an offer here for Richarlison. Now, as much as I don't want to let him go at the same time as that, I don't want the board going over my head and selling him for cheap. So, I'd much prefer, if he was to leave, it was for a fee that I'm happy with, not necessarily the board just letting him go. So, I think 85 million, if he wants away, that's probably one of the, 76 is a very, very good offer as well. Like I mentioned, I don't want the board going over my head and just selling him for cheaper. So, I feel like 80 million, they're going to match it. So, Richarlison is probably going to be leaving the club. 80 million pounds. It's a fee I'm happy with, and I didn't want the board selling him. So, I feel like that's good for all parties. But then the question is, do I bring somebody else in? Because, like I mentioned, there's players who can't even get a game at the minute because of how good we have this team at. So, if Richarlison does go, it's going to give us about 90 million pounds left to spend. Whilst we wait for the Richarlison deal to go through, we've got a game against Newcastle, and it's at home, so it will be a sim game. Hopefully going to get 3 points here. I genuinely believe that we could probably sim right until the end of the season for the Premier League and probably win it. That's how much of a lead we currently have. Let's skip through. It is a win. It's a 2-1 win. It was closer than I thought it was going to be. Lo Celso and Patrick Catrone with the goals in that one as we get another 3 points. But what's going to happen with Richarlison? And the question is, who's going to come in, if anybody, as we're 19 points clear now, with only 16 games to go. Manager of the year. Surely I'm going to get it, right? I won the Champions League and the Premier League last year. Don't tell me it's not going to be me. I'm not even sure if I've won a manager here in any of the series I've played. I mean, who's it going to... Thank you. Thank you. I was going to say, I think that might be my first. But anyway, if I didn't win that, I'd have been livid. Richarlison's still at the club. What's going to happen with that? And we got Soren Weiss as well, wanted by Mönchengladbach. I mean, we got him in. Do I let him go? If the fee's right, you know, we could actually let him go for like 70-odd million. I mean, I don't just want to sell players for selling players' sake. But then again, do I just keep him? I mean, I don't want an 87 rated player sat on my bench, but at the same time, he's not going to get in ahead of Lunin. So, yeah, it's a difficult one, this. Mönchengladbach, he will probably play, and he's one of the better goalkeepers in the world of football. 68 they're willing to give us. I could arguably accept 70 million, bring in a massive, big-name player, and then just bring in a cheap goalkeeper to play back up to Lunin. Watch Lunin now get an injury, now I've said that. Also, another offer for Richarlison. It's come from Atletico. I'll sort this one out off camera. Here it is. Richarlison's gone. £80 million, 72 million into the transfer budget, which takes us up to 104 million, and that is before the Weiss deal goes through. So we could have like 160 million pounds to spend. I'm trying to think of who like the best player in the world is, apart from Mbappe, as there's also the team of the year has been announced. So, how many have we got in here? I said 6 in the last episode I was looking for. How many have we actually got? Team of the year for 2023. I said 6. Will I be right? Tierney's in there. Sanchez. Mbappe. Can you count Mbappe? Because he wasn't with us last year. He's only just joined us this season, of course, and got injured. So, Ter Stegen is in goal for Barcelona. Tierney, Sanchez, and Alexander-Arnold in there as well. So, that's 4. Mbappe, Patrick, that's 5, 6. And Vinicius Jr. and Kingsley Coman. We got 8 players in the team of the year for 2023. That's really, really good. Next up for us, though, it's going to be Fulham, and we are away from home, as you know, with the away sims. Always a bit risky, but hopefully we'll get the victory. I've just had a email as well to say Aaron Wan-Bissaka's handing a transfer request, and there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Fulham 2, Everton 1. Our first defeat of the season in the Premier League. And it's come from an away sim. I sincerely hope that it's sorted in FIFA 20 where away sims aren't as bad. Because genuinely, when you go into them, it's literally 50-50 no matter who you're playing against. You could be playing against the worst team in the world and it'll still be 50-50. I mean, I'm not saying Fulham are the worst team in the world by any means. I'm not saying that. But yeah, they're down in 13th. You know, we've beaten some better sides in sims. And yet we lose to Fulham for the first time in the season. I wasn't going for an unbeaten season. I'm not really bothered about that. But still annoying nonetheless. Now, has that Weiss deal gone through? It's not yet. There is that email about AWB as a transfer request is in. Weiss is still here though, so it means that we will go into our next game, which is going to be the second leg against West Ham, with Weiss still at the club. In fact, I might actually play him in this game here for the final time, potentially in an Everton shirt. We're going to go back to the midfield that we had previously. Mbappe could actually go on to... Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring Mbappe on the bench. Maybe get him some game time. Let's throw on Vinicius Jr. out on the left. Put Herrera up front. And let's throw on Coman on the right. And we'll leave it like that. So, we're going to jump ourselves into the second leg against West Ham. This will book a spot in the final if we can come out this other side. Still ahead after the 90 minutes on the aggregate scoreline. If we can't, unfortunately, that's going to be the first of the 4 trophies we're looking for this season, which we will have failed to have gained. I mean, the Premier League's looking like it's likely. Champions League, we got an alright draw, and the FA Cup, we're still in as well. This is where we really have to put in a display. Alright, here we go then. There was only really one change I can actually recognise from the West Ham side that we played last time, and that was their striker. They swapped out, is it Osimhen? And brought in Mateus, the number 25 there on your screen. So, I think that's the only change that they've actually made to their 11. I don't think there's any other drastic ones. So, it should, theoretically, be us pretty much putting in another performance here and trying to get through to that Carabao Cup final. That's the aim. Can we do it? Let's find out. If I'm being completely honest as well, I actually wouldn't mind this being a boring 0-0-er. It will get us through no matter what happens. But here is Coman trying to find the first chance of this game. Good defending in the end from West Ham as they turn it behind as well. Remember, we have got Mbappe on the bench too. What was that, by the way, from that corner? Mount sends the delivery in. That was a very strange corner. Yeah, Mbappe on the bench. I'm going to be bringing him on at some point during this one. Getting back out there into football. I don't want to risk him getting another injury, though, as Coman's going to send the ball in. Oh, come on, shoot, man. Why are you not hitting that shot? That was there to be put in the back of the net, but... Oh, it just didn't work out, did it? Now, well, we got a bit of defending to do. Can we actually do it? Chamberlain on the ball. Sends it back to Obiang. Now Wilshere. Don't concede early on. That's the one thing I don't want to happen. What a ball that is. As that's a chance. Oh my goodness me, what a pass. He got away with that. And it fell to the guy that's been brought in back into the team in place of Victor Osimhen. If that's how you say it, I'm probably butchering it. But what an opportunity that was to pull West Ham back into this tie. Felipe Anderson inside the box, could have gone down under the challenge, and Vice will punch it. Obiang's there. Oh man, we need to get out here because West Ham are beginning to pose some threats towards our goal. And this is not good when you're trying to see a game out. To be fair, full credit to Felipe Anderson because a challenge came in. I think it was from Pizzala, and he could have gone down for a penalty. He stayed on his feet, put the cross in. Vice initially dealt with it, but then Obiang's shot was off target in the end. But we have to wake up because West Ham are looking the more lively of these two teams at the moment as we're half an hour in, and they could have easily been 2-0 back in this tie. Two changes for us then at half-time. Patrick on and Kylian Mbappe on as well as he's back from his injury, and finally he's back in an Everton shirt. It feels quite like it's been ages since we've last seen him play. Hoping he does all right here as well. Otherwise, that'd be a bit of a anticlimactic return, wouldn't it? As here he is on the ball, turns past one. Mbappe inside the area. What a return this could be! Mattia Perrin with a save. Oh, what a move that was. Kylian Mbappe, that's what we've been missing. I say we're missing it. We've smashed pretty much this entire season thus far. But that would have been a nice way to reintroduce yourself, wouldn't it? As he started us off in this second half pretty well. There's the corner in from Mason Mount. Holgate gets up. I think it touched him last, so I will keep that in play. And in doing so, Felipe Anderson has actually been able to take it away, but we have possession. Vinicius Jr. towards Mbappe again. The shot coming in! Kylian Mbappe with the goal. 3-0 on aggregate. And that should do it then. I think we're safe to say we're through to a Carabao Cup final. Welcome back, Mbappe. Thunderous shot into the top corner. That's why he's the world's best, man. 95 rated at this current time. And this is well worthy of a 95 rated player. Turning through the legs of the defender. No chance for Perrin. You're not saving that one, mate. And I've just hit my funny bone off my desk. That hurt. But still, 1-0 up, 3-0 aggregate. And that's going to do it. Could get even better here as Patrick's in. It's going to get better. 2-0. Mbappe assisting as well. West Ham crumbling all of a sudden now then. They're seeing their Carabao Cup dreams taken away. Goal by goal. And there's still 32 minutes to play here. Ball inside. Mbappe lays it on a plate. Mbappe towards Patrick. Patrick with the finish. I mean, he doesn't miss from there, does he? He really, really does not miss from there. 2 goals in 3 minutes has spurred this game into life. And it's not surprising. It's the 2 changes that have done it. This is Mason Mount in towards Mbappe. Trying to work his magic to get a shooting opportunity. Instead lays it on a plate to Patrick, whose shot comes in. And Perrin will save it. Could have been 3-0 Everton here. Still could be. There's a corner ball to put into the box. Vinicius Jr. does just that. There's the header. And it should have been Pizzala. It was over the top of the crossbar. I expected to see the goal there. I mean, to be fair to the guy, he's sort of leaning back to really make the connection with it. So I'll let him off. 20 minutes to play, still 2-0. Wilshere's ball in. There's a goal back forever for West Ham. And it has come from the change they made before we started in this game. Mateus. Again, I don't know how to say his surname, so I'm just going to call him Mateus. But that's how you do it, Pizzala. Look at that for a header. He's also leaning back, but at least he got it on target. I do think Vice maybe could have saved that. So the quicker you leave us here at Everton, the happier I'll be, because I've not been impressed, I've got to admit, with Vice. I know he was my number 1 this season as we began the year off, but yeah, he's not impressed me at all. Mason Mount's ball through. Mbappe's in again. How has he saved that? How has Perrin just saved that? It's 4-1 on aggregate, and it could have been 5. Another corner into the box. Mbappe gets underneath it. Back out to Vinicius Jr. Another ball back in. Pizzala now attacks it. And it's switched from Mbappe as I was trying to win it back, but I don't know how Perrin managed to save that. Ball in towards the box, and we get it all over the place, and Wilshere's going to make it 2-2. We had 3 players there in that box, and not one of them even challenged Jack Wilshere with his header. I can't believe we're drawing this game. I really can't. From 2-0 to 2-2. I understand the job was already done, but look at this. It's such a poor piece of defending. Pizzala, AWB and Patrick all involved, and not one of them got up to even challenge. Vice beaten again when he shouldn't have been. How have we ended up drawing this? I mean, like I said, we're still through to the final, but the fact we're going to draw this game really has annoyed me a little bit. Coleman now, maybe, nope, it's not going to be a chance for us. I genuinely don't know how we've drawn this. What on earth just happened? It was a hopeful ball into the box as well. We should have dealt with it. Going to have to play better than that in the final, let me tell you that for sure. I mean, Perrin made a number of saves. I'm so glad Vice is going. Let me just throw that out there. So glad he is. Like, literally, 2 shots on target, both headers, and he should have saved both of them. I can't complain, though, because our defenders, what on earth they were doing in that second goal there? No idea. Vice has now gone for 70 million, so we got 60 into the transfer kitty. I really don't know who I'm going to bring in, though, so I'm going to have a little shop around, see who's available, and I'll be back in a second when I've decided. I took a little look around to see who I really wanted to bring in with the money we had. Havertz was my first choice. Now, the problem is he's got an expiring contract, so I can't bring him in. It would have to be in a pre-contract, and of course, we end off the series at the end of this season, so that was a no-go. So instead, I've settled for Paulo Dybala. £100 million is currently the deal we've got in place with Juve, and of course, I needed a backup goalkeeper, so I've gone for Unai Simon from Sevilla. A £12 million release clause in his contract. He will play backup anyway to Ludin, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to negotiate the contract with Simon and Dybala and come back when they are done. Alright, Simon's is done. He's here for about £50,000 a week, and now comes the big contract. Dybala, I'm going to imagine that this is going to be upwards of like £300,000 a week, but as it is our last season, I'm willing to do it. He's already on 330 grand a week at Juventus. So, yeah, I'm expecting this to be a big contract. He wants crucial, which I'm happy with. He's probably got 3 years instead of 4. Nope, he was after the 4. No release clause, and this is where it comes interesting. The money, how much is it going to be? 220k. That's actually not that bad. Of course, there is bonuses in there for appearances and signing bonus and whatnot that I would have taken out. But because I don't need the money for anything else, I'm not too worried about that. So, Paulo Dybala joins an already ridiculous Everton team to make it even better. I mean, where's he going to play? Like, I don't know. I really, really don't know. All right, Aitor's going to come off the bench, and we put Simon in there. Richarlison has, of course, left the club. So Mbappe will go in where he is. And Mason Mount, it looks like, is going to have to drop out where Dybala will come in. But, like, Orsic is in there. Dybala, Lo Celso. I mean, look at this midfield three, guys. Look how good this is. Catrone out for Mbappe. Literally, nearly 90 rated everywhere. I think this is probably the best team I've had in a career mode before. And I guess that means then no excuses if we don't do the quadruple, as I did just call it the best team that I've had in any series before. But to end off today's episode, we got highlights from 2 more games coming your way. Leicester City in the FA Cup, followed by Manchester United in the Premier League, and a sim against Brighton. Doing these as post-coms because I didn't want the episode to be too long, and also to save my voice as well. So we start the action here at the King Power Stadium with us on the attack. I believe this is the 5th round of the FA Cup right now. And the first goal of the game came our way as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold with a shot from the edge of the area. Timed to perfection. I love a good long shot, especially in this FIFA. I'm not sure if they're going to be as good in FIFA 20, of course. I don't know how the gameplay is or anything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see if I can still pull off these long shots as frequently as we have done. But we continue the action then, and I had to leave this in because Everton all of a sudden turned into Barcelona. This move right here was brilliant. My only thing is I made a big mistake here with Kieran Tierney that led to them actually scoring. I would have much preferred it to have been them scoring straight from that fantastic passing play. But instead, the cross came in, we had a chance to deal with it. Kieran Tierney passed it straight to Nanetti, and he scored to make it 1 apiece. But pretty much straight from the kickoff after that, we were able to find a second goal and go back in front. Dybala's first of his Everton career. Of course, I'm calling it an Everton career. It's only going to be for the next 6 months. But it was really nice to see that, of course, him turning, getting it on the right foot and smashing it past the goalkeeper before we added a third with 12 minutes to play to make sure of the FA Cup 6th round spot. I mean, this move as well was really nicely worked. A couple of one-touch passes and such as Patrick finishes it off with a thumping finish. So that was pretty much it from the King Power Stadium. A 3-1 victory would secure our spots in the next round of the FA Cup. And you're going to see the draw at the end of the episode. We've been drawn against Tottenham Spurs. So, yeah, not an easy game by any means. We've had West Ham today, which wasn't an easy game in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. And now we've got Spurs, who advanced through by beating Huddersfield by 3-1. We then continued the highlights as we had Manchester United at home. A game that I was quite looking forward to. They're into the top 4 and are a real challenge whenever you play against them, really. But you can see our team wasted nothing. We had Mbappe playing as well. For Manchester United, though, a couple of familiar faces. Pags in at centre-back, of course, Jolinton up front, and Havertz, who he looked at bringing in this episode as well. But it was a dream start for us. 5 minutes in, it was the ball played through by Patrick Cutrone into the path of Mbappe, who smashed home courtesy of the post. So 5 minutes in, Everton 1, Manchester United 0, and it should have been 2, but for David De Gea to pull off quite an exceptional save indeed. Tierney here, laying it on a plate for Koeman, and look at that. In fairness, it was pretty much down the middle of the goal, but still incredible from David De Gea to pull off that save. And in the second half, Manchester United went on the attack looking for an equaliser. First up, Kluivert shot saved by Lunan, and then not too long later, they put a cross to the back post, where I think it was O'Connor had a header which went narrowly over the top of the crossbar. So they were trying to get themselves an equaliser, but at this point, it was proving to be fruitless for them. But you could kind of sense there might be another goal in the game for one of these two sides, as Mbappe, some incredible work down the right-hand side, gets the opportunity, has the shot. David De Gea again pulls off the save. I don't know how much he knew about it, but he did make the save nonetheless. But like I said, there was potential for one more goal in the game, and it just so happened it fell to us. Vinicius Jr. here. Some excellent work from him as well as he drives inside and finds the finesse shot into the corner of the goal. David De Gea beaten. Everton 2, Manchester United 0. Unfortunately for them, they would not get themselves the equaliser and would now be 2 down. So at that point, I was feeling pretty confident about getting these 3 points. Even more so when Vinicius Jr. again skillfully got into the box, was brought down. I don't know if it was a definite penalty or anything. He went down pretty easily, but the referee gave it. Mbappe stood up to take it, and he sent De Gea the wrong way, making it 3-0 and grabbing us the 3 points as well in the process for his second of the game. And that was all we had in store. So we got through to the next round of the FA Cup in the post-com section. We've been into the game against Manchester United, come out the other side, 3-0 victors. And I was just thinking to myself, it's been pretty good so far. Barring that Fulham sim where we lost it, it's been pretty good. But, you know, we had another away sim, this time against Brighton. And frustratingly, it happened again. We jumped into the sim, I let it play out for a few minutes, skipped through, and we lost yet again by 2-1. So to say I'm a bit annoyed is an understatement. Yes, I should have played it, but I just thought, you know, we'd get the win anyway, no problems attached, but apparently not. So our first 2 defeats of the season have come against Fulham and Brighton in 2 sims. Brighton, who were in the relegation zone, and Fulham, who were 13th. So I don't really know what to say about that. But nevertheless, that's going to bring us to the end of today's episode. A massive thank you for watching this. If you have enjoyed it, a like would be greatly appreciated. I will be back with the next episode in the month of February, which involves a Carabao Cup final against Chelsea, also an FA Cup tie against Spurs, and our first leg knockout round against Bayer Leverkusen. So a lot to look forward to next episode. If you are excited for that, make sure you subscribe by hitting the button down below. And until next time, have a great evening, and I'll see you all again for another episode very, very soon. Until then, adios.